That photo's still on the wall, framed, shiny, untouched. Best decisions we ever made, the caption says. Mark Reynolds just stares at his screen, eyes locked on an email with the subject line, failure to pay $2 million judgment. His lungs forget how to work, not shock recognition. He knows exactly where every single cent went. 5 years back, Daniel Carter shook his hand under that partnership celebration banner. Champagne flutes clinked like wind chimes in a summer breeze. That high-end office buzzed with laughter, all sleek lines and glass walls. Two equals, two smiles, two guys who clicked like nobody's business. Bankers whispered about them behind their backs, competitors sweated bullets. Carter. Pure charm, smooth, natural, the kind that disarms you before you even realize it. Remembered your kid's birthday, slipped a handwritten thank you note on your desk, volunteered for every thankless task that nobody else wanted. Mark trusted him completely, biggest mistake of his life. Now that $2 million judgment glows on his monitor, not a clerical error, not a mix-up. A final notice, bold, final, no wiggle room. Mark's fingers hang in midair over the keyboard. He cracks open the company ledger. Numbers don't line up, not even close. Vendors left hanging, payroll late, credit line maxed out, and tucked in the transaction log, one line, consulting fee Daniel Carter $2 million, stamped 6 months before the partnership imploded. No contract, no invoice. No freaking explanation, just a debt that never was a debt, just a heist that didn't look like one until it did. Mark sinks back in his chair, home office too quiet, too still. That framed photo on his desk shows two men shaking hands, grinning like the world was theirs. One of those smiles belongs to a ghost now. Phone buzzes, another creditor, another ignored call. He hasn't slept in what feels like weeks. The camera glides across the office wall, slow and deliberate. That partnership celebration banner's crooked just a little. Light from the ceiling bounces off the photo's glass, warping the image. A shadow creeps across Mark's face. 5 years of faith, 2 million reasons to scream, zero answers, except one: Daniel didn't just lift the cash. He made Mark think it was his own damn idea. The music shifts, jazz fades into something darker, screen snaps to black, a single white line crawls into view. How? Source: FBI case files show victims of financial backstabbing often stay silent for years, paralyzed by shame, scared of blowback, or convinced their partner will see the light. Mark never saw it coming. Should have, though, because Daniel Carter wasn't just smooth, he was a sneaky narcissist. Archival footage rolls, Daniel laughing, clinking glasses with Mark under the same banner. Camera drifts to a framed document, partnership agreement, Mark Reynolds and Daniel Carter equal owners. Music darkens, low hum replaces the jazz. Daniel didn't just rip off a business deal. He twisted friendship into a weapon. Source: psych profiles reveal covert manipulators weaponize charm, financial leeches, and social games to keep victims under their thumb. Mark reloads the email. Final notice burns on the screen. 2 million isn't just a number, it's a life sentence. Camera inches closer to Mark's face. Bloodshot eyes, hands that won't stop shaking. He clicks reply. Types one word. Why? Screen cuts to black. Text appears. Because Daniel Carter didn't just take $2 million, he took Mark's faith, and faith doesn't bounce back like cash. Music drops, total silence. Source: covert manipulators gaslight victims through shared ownership language, making them doubt reality and hesitate to act. Mark never filed a police report, not when vendors called begging for payments. Not when payroll bounced on Friday, not even when the IRS flagged his returns, because Daniel had him second-guessing everything. Flashback: Mark and Daniel in a glass-walled conference room. Daniel leans in, palms pressed together. Mark, we're family. If something feels off, it's our mess to clean up, not the accountants, not the lawyers, ours. Mark nods, soft smile, full trust. Source: federal fraud case studies show partners delay reporting for 4 years on average, trapped by emotional binds and financial ties. That delay gave Daniel cover. SEC files reveal the pattern: partners skimming under loans, consulting fees, advances, no payback, no audit, no red flags, just plausible deniability wrapped in a smile. Source: SEC documents show recurring schemes where business partners divert funds via fake consulting contracts or loans, exploiting personal trust to delay detection. Mark's phone rings, unknown caller. He lets it roll to voicemail. Message plays. Mark, it's Daniel. I know you're pissed, but you know I'd never cross you. We built this together. Call me. Mark hits delete before it finishes. Camera pulls back, entire office in frame. Banner's corner is torn, peeling at the edges. Photo of two grinning guys still sits on the desk, but the room's light feels icy, unkind. Daniel's voice lingers in Mark's skull. We're partners. If something feels wrong, it's our job to fix it. Mark shuts his eyes. He gets it now. Daniel didn't just swipe $2 million, he made Mark help him do it. Music creeps back, soft, creepy jazz. Single violin weeps a slow, sad note. Mark flips open the laptop, types into the search bar. Daniel Carter fraud $2 million. Screen fills with headlines. Tech boss indicted in $2 million embezzlement ring. Partner accused of building fraud empire. Articles dated 3 years ago, before the partnership ended. Camera cuts to a courtroom sketch suit-clad man smirking at the camera. Caption Daniel Carter, 42, accused of funneling investor cash through fake companies and ghost consulting gigs. Mark's chest tightens. This wasn't his first rodeo. Source DOJ filings show Daniel Carter linked to prior investigations involving shell firms and fabricated consulting deals. He never told Mark, because Mark trusted him. And Daniel Carter lived on trust like it was air. Camera pushes in on the framed photo. Glass smeared, Mark's reflection warped like a funhouse mirror. He stares at his own eyes in the glass, for the first time in forever. He's not sure he knows who he is. Music swells, violin climbs, mournful and raw. Was he really the victim, or just the last patsy? Screen cuts to black. White text appears. Mark Reynolds didn't just lose $2 million, he lost his faith in human beings. Source: clinical studies on financial betrayal show lasting emotional damage, including shattered trust and identity crises. Email notification dings again. Subject: legal action pending final notice. Mark exhales long and slow. He knows what he has to do, but he also knows one thing for sure. Daniel Carter's still out there, and he's not finished. Camera lingers on the empty office. Banner sags just a little more. Photo of two smiling men half swallowed by shadow. Screen fades to black. Text appears. This is only the start. Fade to title card. How one golden boy partner stole $2 million and walked away clean. Silence, then a deep, ominous bass note thrums once. Disclaimer: this story is based on real events. Names and details changed to protect privacy. Views here aren't legal or financial advice. Always talk to the pros before acting. Opening shot: the camera inches closer to a Forbes 30 under 30 plaque, the frame slightly smeared with dust. A champagne cork blasts free with a loud pop. Then, narrator Mark's voice, rough around the edges like he hasn't slept in days. Dude could sell snow to a snowman, no joke. The charm offensive. Montage kicks in. Daniel Carter at some swanky gala, clinking champagne flutes with suits. Cut to a TED stage, him mid-laugh, arms out like he's hugging the whole room. Then a yacht party clip, shaking hands, slapping backs, leaning in like he's the only one who gives a damn. Narrator. Daniel Carter wasn't just some suit with a fancy title. He was like a damn chameleon. Cut to grainy black and white security footage. Daniel at some industry event, one hand resting on some poor intern's shoulder, the other pointing at the crowd like he's Moses parting the Red Sea. That grin never wavered, not once. Narrator. To everyone else, he was the golden boy. Remembered your kid's soccer game, sent thank you notes on actual paper, made you feel like you were part of something huge. His TEDx talk, The Power of Trust in Business. Real catchy title. Footage of the talk, Daniel up there, voice all smooth, eyes locked on the crowd like he's reading their souls. Text pops up: trust isn't given, it's earned, and I earn it every damn day. Narrator Mark, voice off screen, barely holding it together. I thought we were tight, like brothers tight. Close-up of Mark's hands shaking like he's got Parkinson's as he flips through a stack of contracts. The camera hangs on one signature, Daniel Carter, written with way too much flair. Transition: the montage cuts hard to an empty boardroom. The projector buzzing like a dying fly. A shadowy figure sits there, Sarah, some ex-employee. The interviewer's voice is so quiet it's almost not there. Interviewer off camera, barely audible. Dude would take people out to lunch, remembered their kids' names, even what they drank. Sarah, former employee, Daniel's company, voice cracking. He made you feel like you were the only person in the room until you were. Next thing you know, you're in a meeting getting fired for budget cuts. No heads up, no we need to talk, just gone. Sarah's face half lit, half swallowed by darkness. A single tear rolls down her cheek. Narrator. This was Daniel's signature move. The guy had the whole covert narcissist thing down pat: financial exploitation, playing people against each other, all to keep control. Source. Cut to Daniel at some charity event, laughing it up with a bunch of investors. He clinks his glass against someone's wine, then the next second he's hugging some junior staffer who just walked in like their long-lost family. Narrator. He'd build loyalty like a gardener trimming roses. Pick who got the praise, who got ignored, then snap, gone. Text crawls across the screen. The FBI says victims of financial betrayal often stay quiet for years, too ashamed, too scared, or too damn hopeful he'd change. Source. Transition: wide shot of a skyscraper at night, all lit up like a damn Christmas tree. Narrator. Mark and Daniel's whole partnership started right here. Handshake, big dreams, promises. Cut to Mark's face in a deposition, looking like he's aged 20 years overnight. Mark, deposition, hollow voice. I trusted him with everything: my rep, my savings, my wife's inheritance, everything. Text snakes across an SEC filing. SEC docs show a pattern: partners skimming funds under loans or consulting fees with zero intention of paying back, especially when it's personal. Source: The First Crack. Transition, slow zoom on a calendar, red circles around dates, meetings, dinners, strategy sessions. Narrator: The betrayal didn't start with a big heist. Nope, it started with a trickle. Old footage: Daniel and Mark at some steakhouse, Daniel laughing, slapping Mark's back like they're best buds. Text flashes: Feds say business partner fraud often goes unreported for 4 years because victims can't believe it's happening. Source: Narrator: Mark didn't even notice the first $5,000 gone. Consulting fee to some shell company, Daniel's idea. Cash flow issue, he'd say, trust me. Cut to Mark's voicemail, voice cracking. Mark voicemail frantic. Where the hell is that money? Bank's charging me overdraft fees like I'm some deadbeat. Daniel's reply, smooth as butter. Daniel voicemail, calm as a cucumber. Mark, take a breath, it's all good. We'll talk tomorrow. Text pops up: covert narcissists mess with your head, make you doubt yourself, delay you from acting. Source: Transition, dark room, single lamp casts a sad glow on Mark's face. He's got bank statements in his hands, Mark whispering like he's talking to himself. Should have seen it coming, red flags everywhere. Cut to Sarah's interview, her voice sharp. Sarah. He'd have people over for dinner, make em feel like family. Next week, you're holding the company back. It was a game, and we were all just pieces on his board. The unraveling. Transition, courtroom sketch-style animation, Daniel in a suit, grinning like the cat that got the canary dollar bills twisting into prison bars. Narrator: The theft wasn't just money, it was everything. Cut to Mark's wife, Lisa, in an interview, hands clenched like she's trying to strangle something. Lisa: He took our future kids' college fund, the house we were gonna retire in, and for what? A bigger boat, another penthouse. I thought we were his family, turns out we were just his next score. Text crawls: Narcissists use covert tactics, financial exploitation, playing people off each other to keep control. Source: Final shot of the section, slow zoom on courthouse steps. A reporter's mic sits abandoned on a bench like it got ditched in a hurry. Narrator: Mark, voice breaking. He made me believe I was his partner, his friend, his brother. Turns out I was just another sucker at his table. Black screen. Text appears. Text on screen. The first $50,000 was just the tip of the iceberg. Next tease. Text on screen. How a $2 million scam flew under the radar and why no one saw it coming. Elevator doors glide apart. Mark's dress shoes click across the cold marble floor of Daniel's penthouse, the sound sharp against the polished surface. Outside, the city's lights stretch forever, glass towers mirroring a world that now feels completely foreign to him. Daniel lifts his gaze from the papers on his desk, his tailored suit fitting him like a second skin. A smirk plays on his lips, the kind that always made Mark uneasy, even back when they were friends. Mark, to what do I owe this? Delight. Mark doesn't waste a second. He slams a thick file right onto the desk. The impact rattles the crystal pen holder, sending a pen clattering to the floor. You took $2 million from me, Daniel, or maybe I should say from us. Daniel doesn't even blink. He reclines in his chair, fingers pressed together like he's about to recite a prayer. You signed those checks, Mark. Your signature, your responsibility. Simple as that. Mark's voice cracks like thin ice, decades of pent-up frustration finally cracking open. I thought it was just a loan, something to keep the lights on until things turned around. I believed you. Daniel's smirk stays frozen in place. He picks up his fancy pen, tapping it against the dark wood like a judge's gavel, counting down to disaster. We had an understanding. You handled the numbers, I handled the big picture. You agreed to the plan. Mark's fingers shake as he flips open the file. Inside, bank records, wire transfers, offshore accounts with his name on them. You funneled everything through fake companies, used my signature to open accounts in the Caymans, and then he takes a shaky breath. You turned everyone against me. For just a second, Daniel's smirk slips, replaced by something colder than winter. Turned everyone, that's quite the accusation. Source: FBI notes show folks scammed by partners often stay quiet for ages, scared of backlash or hoping things will magically fix themselves. Mark slams down another stack of papers, a string of text messages. Friends, investors, even his own brother. You fed them lies, said I was losing my mind, that I was stealing. That I couldn't be trusted anymore. Daniel lets out a sigh, almost laughing. Mark, you were losing it. The stress, the insomnia, anyone could see you were falling apart. I was just trying to help you. Source: Psychology Today says sneaky manipulators often weaponize relationships, twisting reality until the victim starts doubting their own sanity. The camera locks onto Mark's face, red-rimmed eyes, teeth gritted so hard they might crack. You didn't help me, you cut me off from everyone. Daniel's smile fades just for a flash. You were becoming a problem. Mark's voice drops to a rasp. In the money, where's my share? Daniel pushes up from his chair, adjusting his cufflinks with practiced ease. Poof, gone, invested, wiped out, guess it's your mess now. Mark's chest heaves. He pulls out his phone, hits play on a recording, a voicemail from weeks back, Daniel's voice slick as oil. The board's already lining up behind me, they're starting to think you're the one hiding things. Daniel's face goes ghost white, that's not admissible in court. Source: SEC records show partners often play fast and loose with loans or consulting fees, never planning to pay back a dime, especially when personal ties are involved. Mark's chuckle sounds empty, like a shell casing hitting concrete. You really think laws still apply here? The penthouse feels like a cage now, the skyline outside just another pretty lie. Daniel's voice turns to steel. So what's your play, Mark? Mark's answer is so quiet it shakes the air itself. Payback. Outside, the city keeps buzzing, unaware, uncaring. Inside, the truth sinks in like a boulder. Daniel didn't just take money. He took Mark's good name, his faith in people, his life. Source: DOJ files show victims of white-collar betrayals often wait years to report it, trapped by shame, fear, or sheer disbelief that someone they trusted could do this to them. And the worst part, the world still thinks Daniel walks on water. The camera lingers on Mark's hands, now bare where a wedding ring used to sit tight. His fingers shake as he traces that empty spot like it's a wound he can't stop probing. A stranger walks by, flashes a quick, awkward smile. Mark doesn't even blink. He's not ignoring it, he's just not there anymore. Mark's voice cracks a little, like he's talking through a mouthful of glass. I lost every dollar I had. I lost the guys I thought were brothers. I lost the idea that people were good at all. But here's the kicker: I believed in him. That's the part that still guts me. The sting of the betrayal isn't just in the missing cash. It's in the way his future used to feel so solid: wedding plans, kids, a house with a porch swing, and now it's all just a pile of smoke. The FBI's case file sits half-closed on some agent's desk, stamped inactive, gathering dust. No perp walks, no checks cut, just a slow, creeping rot of questions. Was Mark just sloppy, a sitting duck? Or was Daniel Carter always this good at playing the saint while sharpening the knife? Across town, Daniel Carter's living his best life like nothing ever happened. Quick cuts. Daniel at some high-end bookstore signing, his grin polished to a mirror shine, almost like the pages of his book The Art of Strategic Betrayal are glowing just to match his teeth. Fans practically drape themselves over him, soaking up every word he feeds them. The camera zooms in on a quote from the back cover, a masterclass in visionary leadership. Then the screen fades to black with fresh text. Daniel Carter, still charming, still free. The contrast is brutal, like the system that couldn't nail him is now throwing him a parade. SEC filings show he just rebranded his whole operation under a new LLC a few months after the whole thing blew up. No liens, no red flags, nothing. Guys like Mark are stuck deciphering corporate jargon that never actually says he stole your life savings. It's all funds misallocated under consulting agreements. In the DOJ's own files, they're full of patterns: victims taking 2 to 4 years to even file a report, often because they're still praying the money will magically reappear. Or worse, they think it's their own fault. Source: FBI scam data shows victims wait an average of 2-4 years to report financial betrayal. Shame, fear, and gaslighting keep them silent. Dr. Linda Blair, the shrink who wrote The Covert Narcissist, calls this the charm paradox. The slicker they are, the deeper the scars. They don't just take your cash, she says. They hijack your self-worth. The victim doesn't just lose money, they lose the ability to trust their own gut. Mark's silence isn't just grief, it's survival mode. Now he dissects every handshake, every loud laugh in boardrooms across the city. He's not paranoid, he's calibrated. The screen drains to black. A single line glows in stark white. If it walks like charm, talks like charm, it might be theft wearing a smile. Red flags to keep an eye on. Gifts that feel too big, too fast. Deals that sound too good to be true because they are. No paperwork, just my word is my bond. Cutting you off from other people in your circle. Source: SEC fraud patterns, Psychology Today covert narcissism research. Mark's voice comes back, softer now, like he's talking to the dark. Trust isn't weakness. It's the last thing you've got when everything else is ashes. And Daniel didn't just take mine, he made sure I'd never trust again.